Imagine someone who has dedicated months, maybe even years, to raising their vibration. They meditate daily, they eat clean, they repeat affirmations, they surround themselves with high-frequency music, they visualize their ideal life, but they avoid negativity at all costs. And yet, something isn't working. They feel moments of lightness, moments where they believe they are ascending to a higher state, but then almost as if the universe is testing them, they crash. They fall into old patterns. They feel drained, exhausted, stuck. They don't understand why, after doing everything right, they still feel this invisible weight pulling them back down. They start questioning whether raising their vibration is even real. They start wondering if they are missing something crucial. And the truth is, they are. This is where most people fail. Not because they don't have the discipline, not because they don't have the desire, but because they are making one fundamental mistake, one mistake so subtle, yet so devastating, that it keeps them locked in an endless cycle of temporary highs followed by inevitable crashes. And this mistake is not what you think. It is not about meditation. It is not about diet. It is not about affirmations. It is something far deeper, something that most spiritual teachers don't talk about. The mistake is this: they are trying to raise their vibration while still rejecting their shadows. This is the secret that separates those who truly ascend from those who remain stuck. Because here's what nobody tells you: you cannot raise your vibration by running away. You cannot reach higher frequencies by suppressing the lower ones. And yet, this is exactly what most people do. They try to fill their lives with light while avoiding their own darkness. They try to stay positive while ignoring the unresolved pain, fear, and trauma buried deep within them. And this is why they keep crashing. Because what you resist does not disappear, it only grows stronger.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Think about this deeply. If you spend all your energy trying to avoid negativity, trying to block out your fears, trying to silence the parts of yourself that you don't want to face, what are you really doing? You are not transcending these things, you are feeding them with your fear. You are giving them power by refusing to acknowledge them. You are pretending they don't exist, but deep down, a part of you knows they are still there. And because they are still there, they pull you back. No matter how much light you try to bring in, the shadows you refuse to face will always drag you back down. This is why so many people feel like they are stuck in an endless loop. They meditate, they feel good for a while, but then something triggers them, a negative thought, an old wound, a situation that reminds them of past pain, and suddenly, all the high vibrations they built up come crashing down. They feel frustrated. They feel like they are failing. But they are not failing. They are just approaching it the wrong way. Because raising your vibration is not about escaping your darkness, it is about integrating it. It is about acknowledging every part of yourself, even the parts you don't like, even the parts that scare you, even the parts that make you uncomfortable. Most people think enlightenment means becoming pure light, free from all negative emotions. But that is a lie. Real enlightenment is not about becoming only light, it is about becoming whole. It is about embracing both your light and your darkness, both your joy and your pain, both your love and your fear. Because when you integrate your shadows instead of avoiding them, something incredible happens. They lose their power over you. They stop pulling you down. They stop controlling you from the unconscious depths of your mind. So now ask yourself, What parts of yourself have you been avoiding? What emotions have you been suppressing? What fears have you been pretending don't exist? Because these are the exact things that are holding you back. Not the lack of meditation, not the lack of affirmations, not the lack of positivity. It is your resistance to your own shadows that is keeping you stuck. And the moment you stop resisting, the moment you turn toward your fears instead of running from them, is the moment your vibration naturally rises. Not because you are forcing it, but because you are no longer weighed down by the things you refuse to face. Let me give you a simple but powerful truth. True high vibration is not fragile. If your vibration can be shattered by a single negative thought, then you are not truly vibrating higher, you are just temporarily escaping. Real high vibration is unshakable. It is not afraid of negativity. It is not afraid of darkness. It does not need to constantly protect itself from lower energies because it has already integrated them. This is why the most enlightened beings are not the ones who avoid suffering, they are the ones who have gone deep into their own suffering and come out the other side. Think about the great spiritual masters throughout history. Did they live in constant avoidance of negativity? Or did they face it head on? Did they lock themselves away in bubbles of artificial positivity? Or did they walk among both the light and the dark without fear? The truth is, they did not transcend suffering by avoiding it, they transcended suffering by understanding it, by transforming it, by integrating it. And this is what you must do if you truly want to raise your vibration in a way that lasts. So now, let's talk about how to actually do this. The next time you feel yourself being pulled down, the next time you feel negative emotions rising, do not resist them. Do not try to push them away. Do not tell yourself that you are failing or that you are lowering your vibration. Instead, observe. Sit with the feeling. Allow it to exist without judgment. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me? Where is it coming from? What part of me have I been ignoring that is now demanding to be seen? And when you do this, when you allow your shadows to speak instead of silencing them, you will notice something incredible. They begin to dissolve. Not because you force them to go away, but because you finally acknowledge them. This is the real secret to raising your vibration. Not forcing yourself to be positive, but becoming so aware, so conscious, so whole, that you no longer fear the negative. Because the moment you stop fearing the dark, the moment you stop running from your own pain, is the moment you become free. And when you are free, your vibration naturally rises not because you are trying, but because there is nothing left to hold it down. So now I ask you, are you willing to face yourself? Are you willing to stop running? Are you willing to let go of the illusion that raising your vibration means avoiding all negativity? Because if you are, then you have already taken the first step toward true transformation, not temporary highs, not fleeting moments of peace, but a deep and lasting shift in your entire state of being. And this is what most people miss. This is why they struggle. But you do not have to struggle anymore, because now you see the truth. You have spent your entire life being told that in order to raise your vibration, you need to focus on positivity, on love, on light. But what if I told you that true vibrational mastery has nothing to do with escaping negativity and everything to do with understanding how energy actually works? What if I told you that most people who believe they are raising their vibration are actually trapping themselves in a cycle of spiritual bypassing, avoiding the very things that would set them free? What if I told you that the highest vibrational beings on this planet are not the ones who avoid suffering, but the ones who have mastered the alchemy of suffering? Let's go deeper. Right now, you are surrounded by unseen forces, frequencies, energies, vibrational fields that you cannot perceive with your physical senses, but that influence you in ways you cannot even begin to understand. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is not just something happening inside your mind, it is energy. And this energy is not passive. It is not just sitting there. It is vibrating, radiating, interacting with the field around you. This is why two people can stand in the same room, but one feels light and free while the other feels heavy and drained. They are occupying different vibrational states, not because of their external environment, but because of the energy they are carrying within them. Now, here is where most people go wrong. They believe that in order to raise their vibration, they must force themselves into a state of positivity. They believe that if they just think happy thoughts, if they just repeat enough affirmations, if they just avoid anything that feels negative, they will ascend into a higher frequency. But this is not how energy works. You cannot force energy. You cannot manipulate it through denial. You cannot trick the universe into believing you are high vibrational when you are carrying unprocessed pain, fear, and resentment inside you. Because energy does not lie. This is why so many people feel frustrated. They try so hard to be positive, yet deep down, their reality does not change. They still attract the same situations, the same struggles, the same emotional patterns. They wonder why, despite all their efforts, they are still stuck. And the reason is simple: they are trying to raise their vibration on top of unhealed energy. Imagine trying to build a tall, magnificent tower on a foundation that is cracked, uneven, and unstable. No matter how high you build, eventually, the entire structure will collapse under its own weight. This is exactly what happens when people try to vibrate higher without first addressing the energy leaks in their system. Let's talk about these energy leaks, because they are the hidden force that keeps most people stuck. An energy leak is any unresolved emotional wound, any suppressed trauma, any unconscious fear that is quietly draining your vibrational field without you realizing it. It is the argument you never healed from. It is the self-doubt you bury under fake confidence. It is the guilt you carry for things you did in the past. It is the resentment you hold toward people who hurt you. It is the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of being alone. And here's the most important thing you need to know: these energy leaks do not disappear just because you ignore them. In fact, the more you suppress them, the more they control you from the shadows. This is why some people can meditate for hours, repeat thousands of affirmations, surround themselves with love and light, and still feel like something is off. Their conscious mind is saying, "I am high vibrational," but their energy field is still carrying the weight of their unresolved past. And the universe does not respond to what you say, it responds to what you are. So if you are carrying fear, pain, and resistance within you, even if you are pretending to be positive, your vibration will still be anchored in those lower frequencies. So now, let's ask the real question: how do you truly raise your vibration in a way that lasts? How do you stop playing this game of temporary highs followed by inevitable crashes? How do you break free from the illusion that spirituality is about avoiding the dark, and instead step into a level of energy mastery where you are no longer afraid of anything that arises within you? The answer is energetic integration. Energetic integration is the process of fully acknowledging, feeling, and transmuting the lower frequency energies that have been trapped inside you for years, but maybe even lifetimes. It is the process of facing the emotions you have been running from, of turning toward the pain instead of away from it, so of allowing yourself to feel everything instead of suppressing what makes you uncomfortable. Because here is the paradox: the only way to raise your vibration is to first go deeper into the parts of yourself you have been avoiding. Let me give you a simple but powerful practice. The next time you feel a negative emotion rising, whether it is fear, anger, sadness, or shame, do not suppress it. Do not try to fix it. Do not try to distract yourself. Instead, sit with it. Close your eyes. Breathe. Feel it fully, without judgment, without resistance. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What part of me has been ignored? What belief, what wound, what past experience is still unresolved? And then listen, not with your mind, but with your being. Because energy speaks in sensations, in feelings, in intuitive knowing. And when you do this, when you allow yourself to fully feel without resistance, something incredible happens. The energy begins to move. It begins to shift. It begins to release. And as it releases, your vibration naturally rises. Not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped holding it down. This is the real work. Not repeating affirmations while ignoring the parts of yourself that need healing, but not pretending to be high vibrational while carrying suppressed pain. The real work is becoming so conscious, so aware, so present with yourself that no emotion, no memory, no past experience has power over you anymore. Because when you reach this level, you no longer fear low vibrations. You no longer feel like you have to protect yourself from negativity. You no longer get trapped in cycles of temporary highs followed by inevitable crashes. Instead, you become unshakable. You become a being who is not just high vibrational in moments of peace, but who can hold that vibration even in the face of chaos, even in the presence of fear, even when life throws challenges your way. So now I ask you, are you willing to stop running? Are you willing to stop pretending? Are you willing to face yourself fully, without resistance, without fear, without judgment? Because if you are, then you are already stepping into the next level of your spiritual evolution. You are no longer someone who is just trying to be positive. You are becoming someone who is truly free. And when you are free, when there is no longer anything inside you that you are suppressing, when you have integrated every part of yourself, your vibration soars. Not because you are forcing it, but because there is nothing left to hold it down. At this point, something inside you has already shifted. You are no longer seeing raising your vibration as a game of chasing positivity or avoiding negativity. You are beginning to understand that true vibrational mastery is not about rejection, it is about integration. It is about becoming so whole, so present, so deeply connected to yourself that nothing, no emotion, no situation, no external force can pull you out of your center. But now we must go even deeper. Because while understanding this truth is powerful, embodying it is what will change your life forever. Let's talk about what it actually means to live at a high vibration, not just for moments, not just for days, but as your permanent state of being. Because here's the truth, real high vibration is not a state you visit, it is a state you become. And in order to become it, you must understand something that most people never realize. Your vibration is not just about what you think or what you feel. It is about what you embody at the deepest level of your being. Right now, there are two versions of you. The first is the version that is still influenced by old patterns, by unconscious programming, by past wounds that have not yet been fully healed. This version of you is reactive. It is still affected by external circumstances. It still gets pulled into emotional loops, but it still feels like it has to try to be high vibrational. But then, there is another version of you, the version that is already free. The version that does not react but responds. The version that is not controlled by emotions but observes them with absolute clarity. The version that does not need to raise its vibration because it is the vibration. And the only difference between these two versions of you is awareness. The first version is trapped in unconsciousness, in patterns that have been running for years, even lifetimes. The second version is fully present, fully awake, fully aligned. And the moment you shift your awareness from the first version to the second, your entire reality changes. Because here's the ultimate truth, that nobody tells you raising your vibration is not about effort, but it is about becoming so aware that effort is no longer needed. Let's go even deeper. Most people believe that raising their vibration is about doing certain things, meditating, eating high vibrational foods, surrounding themselves with the right energies. And while these things can help, they are not the source of a high vibration. Because if your vibration is dependent on external things, then it is not stable. It is still fragile. It is still something that can be taken away. True vibrational mastery comes when you realize that your vibration is not something you have to protect, it is something that protects itself. Imagine a flame. A small flame can be extinguished by a gust of wind. But a massive fire, a force of nature? No wind, no storm, no external force can put it out. This is what you must become. Not a fragile flame that constantly has to shield itself from negativity, but a fire so strong that nothing can dim it. This is why the greatest spiritual masters do not avoid suffering, they walk straight into it without fear. They do not avoid darkness, they bring light into it. They do not resist the world, they move through it with absolute presence. Because they are not trying to raise their vibration, they are the vibration. And when you reach this state, your energy becomes untouchable. You do not have to try to be high vibrational. You do not have to protect your energy. You simply are. So how do you step into this level of mastery? How do you shift from someone who is constantly working to raise their vibration to someone who naturally radiates a high frequency in every moment? The answer is embodiment. You must start living as the version of you that is already free. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Every moment of your life you have a choice. You can act from the old version of you, the one that reacts, that falls into old patterns, that gets pulled into emotional drama. Or you can act from the highest version of you, the one that is aware, that sees everything clearly, that moves through life with total presence. And the more you choose the highest version of you, the more that version becomes your default state. This is the final secret to permanently raising your vibration. It is not about what you do. It is about who you are in every moment. When something triggers you, do you react unconsciously, or do you pause, observe, and respond with awareness? When fear arises, do you run from it, or do you sit with it and allow it to dissolve? When your mind starts spiraling into old habits, do you follow it, or do you bring yourself back to presence? Every choice you make is either reinforcing the old version of you or strengthening the new one. And the more you choose presence, the more you choose awareness, the more you choose mastery, the less effort is needed. Because eventually it simply becomes who you are. And then something incredible happens. But Your vibration is no longer something you think about, it is simply your natural state. You no longer have to meditate to feel peace, because peace is your baseline. You no longer have to try to attract abundance, because abundance flows to you effortlessly. But you no longer have to protect yourself from negativity, because negativity cannot touch something that is truly whole. So now, I ask you the deepest question of all. Are you willing to stop trying? Are you willing to stop forcing? Are you willing to stop working so hard to raise your vibration and instead simply step into the version of you that is already there? Because if you are, then all effort dissolves, all struggle disappears, and what remains is simply presence, simply awareness, simply a being who is so deeply in tune with themselves that nothing can shake them. This is not a temporary high. This is not a fleeting moment of enlightenment. This is the new foundation of your existence. This is the truth that has been hidden in plain sight all along. You were never meant to chase a high vibration. You were meant to become it. And now, in this very moment, you have the power to step into that reality. No more waiting, no more hesitation, no more searching. Because the highest version of you is not in the future. It is here, now. And the moment you fully realize that, your vibration is no longer something you have to raise, it is something you are.